wanted to start off by just getting a little bit of background about you. So how long have you been at the radio station?
I've been at the radio station from 94 to 2000, left for 9 years to do real estate and speaking, and then came back in 2009. So our second incarnation of the show is for 3 years now.
So where did this interest in stand-up comedy come from? You had done it a long time ago, I gathered, and then you put it aside, or?
Yeah, it's funny. I was just talking to a guy who's playing the Borgata, Rob Magnotti, is a friend of mine. I went to college with him, and we both were doing stand-up at the time for the college, and I got him looked at a booker was looking at me, and the guy wanted to run with him instantly because Rob was an impressionist who just does dead-on impressions, and I was developing my act, and this is, 89 to 91, and I'm just doing the club scene, doing what I can, and this guy, he's so good at impressions that they run with him. I decided, you know what, I'm in radio anyway, why don't I just stay in radio? I literally, the day I told Joe off the air, I think I want to try to get into stand-up again and see if we can use some of these local connections to work it.
Right.
Steve Raymond, our boss, gave me a call like 10 o'clock that morning and said, do you want to open up for Big Daddy Graham and Joe Conklin, do some stand-up in Wildwood? They're doing a benefit in August. And I went, whoa.
Right.
Like, it was almost like he heard me talking and he had it. So I just always had the itch.
How was it to get back on stage?
I have not built an audience that is big enough to make me nervous. What makes me nervous is, will my jokes land? Will people laugh? Will the people looking at me think I'm good enough to book me or something like that? So there was about 500 people in the audience that night, and I thrived on it the first time I heard a laugh.
And how did this new gig come about? Since it's like not just a benefit, but an actual sort of, like a regular ticketed event. One
of my first gigs at the Comedy Stop was purely because the connections with the radio. However, I met an amazing headline comedian named Jay Black, who's out of Marlton, who has been so generous, and he got me into the comedy cabarets, which were in Marlton and Northeast Philly and Doylestown. And then I've gotten asked back multiple times. So that was me. It was him opening the door, it was me walking in the door.
Right.
The Comedy Stop, we're going to do that again. The Trop said, wait a minute, we like Joe and Scott. Scott's been at the Comedy Stop. That's in the Trop. Scott's, doing stand-up. Why not try to make this happen? And Dom Herrera's people, God bless them. He's an icon. He's a legend. He has no business letting me open for him. He doesn't even know who I am, and he was all for it. I mean, we've known about this gig for months now, and that was awesome. So, there's 2,000 seats in that auditorium. That might make me a little nervous, but really it's about doing justice to Dom Herrera's fans.
You thinking about giving up your day job, or is this really just something you want to do on the side?
I mean, if I was a nationally known headline comedian, I'd have to. But although you could work the weekends, I want to take this as far as it'll go. I love my job at ZXL. I love doing the morning show. I love the South Jersey listeners. I love making them laugh. 5 days a week. You don't always get that in comedy. Sometimes it's a weekend. Sometimes if you're not getting bookings, you go a period of time before you get on stage again. But obviously if I become, big enough where they're sending me all over the country, and putting me in TV shows, then the radio show would probably have to eventually come to a halt on that end. But let's be honest, a lot of the stuff I'm getting is because I'm on the radio show. The comics themselves love the fact that I'll put them on the show to promote their upcoming shows. So they're more probably apt to do me a favor and give me what's called a guest spot somewhere. And comedy is a lot of networking. Like I said before, you have to, a lot of times it's who you know. Well, a lot of times you'll get a job from doing a show because another comic there will say, look, I'm doing a benefit. I need I need a 15-minute spot. You want to do it? Or, you'll meet an owner or a GM of a room or something like that, and you'll get another gig. So the networking that I get with the radio show and the networking I get by doing the comedy shows, it's gonna take something big for them to, for me to have to stop this show because I'd have to be unavailable for long periods of time. And if that's the case, I'm shooting a movie, you know. I don't see that happen. I don't see that happening anytime. You know, I'm lucky enough to get a lot of the breaks. I've met some really nice people in comedy, really great comedians who are fun and nice, give me opportunities, and then I've got to be the one, once I'm there, to make, you know, to be asked back. And so far, I've been lucky enough to do that.